All right. You know what time it is. Monday night, open court discussion, live in the counselor's corner. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor, and joining me is my co-host, Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf.
Oh.
I was going to say the wolf is quiet so far. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. This past Monday, we discussed the topic paternity and destruction of lives. But tonight, August 16th, the topic we will be discussing is, ladies, what do you bring to the table? Leading up to the broadcast, we have heard many comments such as, this is a narcissistic question. Why do you have to ask? Just sit back and observe. Me personally, I don't see what the big deal is with this question. If you're confident in what you bring to the table, then answer the damn question. You heard it. Answer the damn question. You won't fumble that question in the interview if they said, so why should I hire you? So why wouldn't a man say, damn, why should you be the one? As vice versa, were you asking him, why should he be the one? Because as they say, real cream rises to the top. So I think, ladies, some of y'all are kind of shaking in y'all boots with that question, and it makes y'all real nervous. Okay. Like I said, crickets. We'll wait till the night. Hopefully somebody will come on and you'll be able to answer that question. But just a reminder, please like and share our video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. So we're here. Big question. Ladies, what are you bringing to the table? And you know, I've been posting stuff the last few days. I'm going to bring Willie in here. We got Christine. I'm going to bring them in. We're going to get this thing going. Hey, Willie.
Hi, everybody.
Christine.
Good evening, all.
What up, Vegas?
She's living that Vegas life.
You know, I was jealous. I was real jealous.
I had a ball.
I could tell. I saw the pictures.
All right, so we go get rolling, and I was been posting stuff the last few days, and we've had stuff prior to this. This was one of the questions in the grab bag the other week, and as men, we want to know why is this question so offensive, lady? What's the issue with a man asking that? And a lot of feedback was saying you shouldn't ask that question. If a man asks you that question, that's a red flag and all of this stuff. But damn, how do you decipher if that person can make it to the next level without higher level questioning? And also, we also have to have actions to support our answers, but damn, you can't run away from this question. I mean, and a lot of people was like, "Oh, I'm so sick of this subject." We know why you're sick of it, because it's making you feel uncomfortable. You feel real uncomfortable about it. So because we get asked stuff all the damn time, and either we hold up or fold up. And a lot of times y'all women say, as soon as they open their damn mouth, that's how I knew that it was. So y'all waiting for us to slip up. And now y'all don't want the same thing in return. But I'm done with my spill. I'm going to pass it on to Herb. He can kind of give this little introduction to it. Then we're going to go full throttle.
All right. There seems to be a little consternation or a little misunderstanding what that question actually means and what it represents. And I'll break it down, and I'll make it real simplistic for everybody. The table is the potential relationship or the engagement that a man and woman, we're going to focus on man and woman just for this particular instance. I know there's more types of relationships than just that, but just for this particular discussion, we're going to focus on that. What each individual brings to the table, specifically women. So with that, when we say the table, that's what we're meaning. We're not talking about what you bring to the guy, because it's assumed that you bring the basics. You bring your anatomy, You bring what femininity that you have and all the other things. But how do those things benefit the relationship? So with that said, I'm gonna step out the way and let everybody else get in, get their opening comments in so we can actually get this ball rolling.
Well, I still think the question is ambiguous. When you got through breaking it down, it's more ambiguous now than it was before.
How so?
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
I guess it's like what are men looking for when they ask that question? What are you looking for? What type of answers are
Where's the response? It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for your response. Like if I say to you, so what are you looking for in this relationship? What do you bring to the table? And what are you looking for from me? Or this is what I bring to the table. And then how do we mesh? How does that work for us? Are we going to work? Because what you may be bringing to the table may be something that I feel I may not need in my relationship. Or
but don't you discover that? Don't you discover that in observation? I mean,
no, but you also ask the person. You can always ask a person and then see if their actions speak like their words.
Okay, so when men are asked this question, I don't like the question, period. Not from a woman to a man, not from a man to a woman. I don't like the question. But being in different groups, whatever, just in different conversations online, and you hear this question, what do you bring to the table? It's just thrown out there for man or woman to answer. Men start naming off their what type of job they have, the house they have, their ability to provide financially. So when that's what you're getting from a man, when that question is asked, then why wouldn't a woman feel like, well, he's looking for the same things? Well, I bring, you bring this much income, I bring that much income. You bring this set of education, I bring that set of education. You bring this set of experiences, I bring that set of experiences. You got a house, I got a house.
So then that's what you're telling them. You're telling them the same thing. So then he can look at that and say, okay, we're on the same page, or we're not on the same page, or I'm not looking for that. Based on what you say is what is your contribution? What do you bring to the table? So like and when you mentioned that a guy says, a house, a car, his job, all these kind of things, a lot of times because men often feel that women are looking for material things. Mm-hmm. So of course we're going to say all the material things that we have to offer or that we have to make them feel that, okay, I can take care of you. I can be supportive of you. You're not getting with me and I'm coming to move into your house because I have nowhere to stay. My mama put me out, so you're looking, there are a lot of times a man who's a real man or a man who's really trying to be in a relationship is going to say to you, I can provide that comfort, that security, that job, that, and then based on what you have to offer, and you're saying the same thing. So now we can work together and then see where that goes. So at the end of the day, if we do decide we're going to be together, long-term marriage or whatever the case may be, we can get rid of one of the houses. And then that saves us the opportunity of using that funds to work on the house that we have, or we buy a house together and get rid of both houses. So, you start to see where you two can combine things based on what each one of you bring to the table. But without asking that question, you don't know. You don't want to sit there and then wait and see and then realize that you bringing everything to the table and he's sitting back eating and not feeding you.
But it seems to me, again, that through observation, man or woman, you're going to see those things.
I'm not wasting that much time.
Okay, let me ask you this, Christine. If you go out on a prospective date with an individual that you haven't had any prior dialogue with or very little dialogue with, how do you find out what assets they bring that are what you desire in a relationship? without in some way, shape, or form asking that question. No matter how you disguise it, no matter how you cloak the question. What questions do you generally ask?
To me, that those things unfold through observation, through conversation, but just the whole, okay,
come on,
what
Christine.
do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table is like saying, give me your advertising slip.
That's
absolutely.
Right. Give me your sales pitch.
Yes.
Give me your sales pitch.
I mean,
your 30-second sales pitch.
That works for guys. That's how you see it. To me, it's insulting because I'm not for sale.
So let me ask this. Let me ask this. So Herb or Willie. So have you ever asked this question? Why or why not? So how would you phrase that to someone? How would you actually word that?
I wouldn't say, what do you bring? I always, I always talk to them and say, so, what do you do? What kind of things you like to do? I'll have a conversation.
Okay, well, that comes across a lot differently than what do you bring
I understand.
to the table?
And so, I understand you understand. I understand when you say it's offensive. And that's why I don't ask the question, but you have a conversation centered around things that person, to understand what they bring to the table, what their likes, their dislikes, what are they living at home? Or are they living with somebody, living at home with their mama, what, you have a conversation to learn those things. And so from there, it's a lot simpler. Like you said, it makes it a lot simpler when you have a conversation versus just saying, so what do you bring to the table? And I can see I can see anybody being offended by that.
Okay. Then we're on the same page with that one.
Yeah.
Because I think it's an offensive question.
Herbert.
Okay, let me drop this little gem in here. Offenses are never given, they're always taken. Okay. Very seldomly is a man ever offended by the question, what do you do for a living? We know what that question is code for. How much money do you make?
Okay.
And any man that's doing well financially will put it out there. He's not going to be offended. So if that man is being classified as a high value manager, he's going to tell you, I'm a stockbroker. I'm a day trader.
But
I'm a lawyer.
What do you
I'm
do
a doctor
for a living?
Mm-hmm.
Asking what do you do for a living, or versus what do you bring to the table? Because what do you bring to the table also says what you got to give me.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. When women
in a
relationship has to be established before conversation even goes down that route.
Well, you're building a relationship.
Not at all. That's backwards. That's backwards.
What do you bring to the table? What
Right.
What is your contribution, or what is your input to the relationship?
So let me read these two comments. Daphne, thanks for joining. Daphne, she said, you can ask questions. Do you enjoy your job? How long have you been with that company? Are you looking for a promotion? Those are little subtle ways to try to figure out how consistent that person is, whether he said, oh, I've been here 3 months. And you're like, 3 months? Like, damn, like, okay. Or somebody's been somewhere, I've been on my job for 20 years. So that they got some consistency, stability, structure in their life. So, those little questions are ways to kind of draw that information out. Claire said, I'm not offended at all. I'm going to ask the same. I think people that don't have anything to offer are the ones offended.
Yep.
And that's when I was talking about people being uncomfortable because they may be offended by it. Not saying you, Christine. Not saying you.
I don't take offense in that way at all. However,
but see, go ahead, Christine.
And this is probably part of it that makes it I don't know how to put it, kind of different in my case. I'm older. I'm not looking for somebody to take care of me. I don't want someone that's looking for a woman to take care of them either. but it just allows me more time to get to know a person actually, rather than, hey, what do you do for a living? How much money do you make? You know.
Now, would you take offense if somebody asked you how much money you make?
Hell yes.
Of course. Okay. So when you said that, that just made me think about it, because somebody actually asked me that the other day.
Yes,
I thought it was mean. That's very offensive.
It's very offensive, and at least it used to be in polite company. You did not discuss that type of thing, and you did not ask that type of thing.
Exactly.
You know.
I mean, and the thing is, in this day and age, you really don't have to ask somebody. If you find out their job, you probably can kind of get a range or idea of what they're making. You can go from there based on that.
Hey, but just like he said, people ask.
Now, I can tell you what would be an offensive question.
What's that? I got to hear this one.
For a man to ask a woman how many sexual partners she had. Now, that could be offensive to a woman.
Well, see, I posted about that the other day. Remember that, Dave?
Well, no,
but did post about it. It wasn't
sexual history is something you do not want to.
No. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of women would be uncomfortable because they wouldn't know how to answer it. Conversely,
I wouldn't answer.
What would they rather be asked? Well, how much money?
I can answer just fine. None of your business.
Exactly.
But
that conversation is dead in the water. Anything else?
Okay, fine. Let's take that approach. Now, let's say you asked a man what he did for a living, and he told you none of your business. How would you react?
I'd probably be taken aback.
Yeah.
But you know what? If his
that's a little different though.
If his his reply was none of your business.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I would apologize. I would be like, I apologize. I didn't mean to get too personal or to be offensive. Because to me, you just took offense. If your reply was none of your business, then that's how I would think you took offense at my question.
No, I understand it. Go ahead.
If I asked somebody that question and they gave me that response, I would get up and leave. Because if I can't ask you what you do for a living, I know I can't ask you anything personal.
Right.
So I mean, there's going to be some lot of hidden things going on in that person. And
it would be you never hear from me again, but I would
get up and leave. I would tell them, I said, you know what, I already realized this isn't going to work. It was nice meeting you.
So this reminds me of the question I had just posted a little while ago that I got from some woman that posted. She said, went in because dudes said, she's like, why dudes always ask, can you cook? Like, so I'm like, damn, can we ask y'all anything? Anything. Can't ask you what you bring to the table. Damn sure can't ask you what you cook to bring to the table. So what can we ask without people getting offended? That's what I need to know.
Yeah, Christine, tell us.
I mean, I wouldn't have it, and I wouldn't have an issue with somebody asking me. Okay, let me put it like this.
What do you ask it though?
Sometimes, wait. Sometimes it's not what you ask; it's how you ask it. So, and maybe I wouldn't take offense at it if someone said, "Can you cook?" But maybe a better way to
why we gotta keep dancing around the mulberry bush?
I agree. But since some women find it offensive, if you really wanted to know, then you might ask, do you enjoy cooking? See how subtle that subtle difference is? Hey, do you enjoy cooking? I'm just saying.
Do you cook?
You can just ask me. Do you cook?
Actually, again, like I said, I just had this conversation. But I actually was in the conversation. I said to the person, I said, one of the things I enjoy doing is cooking. I said, do you like to cook? And it kind of, it kind of comes a little differently, but you still find out
Yeah.
Whether that person, because like I said, I like to cook. So I said, you know, one of my hobbies during this pandemic, I learned how to do a lot of different cooking with my air fryer
Yeah,
and
that
making
just
different
opens
things at home.
all kind of
What about you?
and
Do
I
you
guess
like to
that's
cook
my
or do
whole
you
thing,
cook?
even with the whole question of what do you bring to the table. Making conversation flow, open exchange of information is so much different than just these pointed, like I
Direct
said,
question.
let me see your marketing slick. Wait, what you got going on? Let me see your marketing slick. Let me kick the tires.
Some guys gonna ask, "Can you cook?" Probably because of previous relationships where all they did was go out and have takeout or wine and dine, and they saying, "Shit, I like a nice cooked meal," and they want to know that. If you say, "Nah, I don't really cook too much or whatever, not that much," then they gonna know. Nah, this ain't for me. I'm past that stage of the game.
Right.
I'm looking
Or
for a
it
nice
might not be
meal.
a deal breaker. They might, it just depends on where that person is.
Because usually it's a reason why you're gonna ask a question. And what I
Right.
learned in counseling 101, if you ask a question, you better be going somewhere with it. So if you ask that question, they're going somewhere with it. There's something that they're trying to build on.
Let me answer that question. Let me put it to you like this, Christine. If a man is asking a woman, can she cook? There's a hidden reason why he's asking that's not being disclosed, that if women don't look at, they'll never catch.
And
in
what is
addition to what David said, I'm just want to lay this out before I get to that. Having a nice home cooked meal, it creates an element to which you two can bond. The other thing is this: if you look at the average cost of a meal out, you're looking at between $75 to $100. So let's say, as a couple, we go out 3 times a week.
That means $50
Doesn't matter what day.
You already know. You already knew my answer. I was going to say we're doing $50 under.
You're looking. Right. Well, yeah, whatever the case is, I'm just saying, because I like a nice bottle of wine when I go out. It's cheaper for me to buy a box and have them at home and have a nice home cooked meal. But that's what I was getting at. If you go out and you spend $100 every outing, that's $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month. You're looking at over $10,000 a year. I would rather take $7,500 of that money and invest in stocks or something else for us long term, crypto now, and have a wife or girlfriend or whatever the case is, that can prepare a meal in house. If I have to help, I'm on board with that. I have absolutely no problem with putting my hands together, picking up a knife, cutting up some vegetables, sauteing onions, or whatever the case is, to aid in that. That's why I said it helps with the bonding, because you two are in the kitchen, you're doing something that's for both of you, as opposed to just somebody doing something that's for both of you all the time and they're living to regret it. They're saying every time he comes home, I gotta cook. Every time there's something broke, I gotta fix it. That's the hidden part of the question that a lot of women don't consider. So that's why the question's asked. That among other things, I wrote down a list of things here that are pros and cons. You mentioned education. Education is great. For women, it's great. For men, if a woman has education, it could be great. It may not be great. And the reason why I say that is this: a lot of women tend to lead with the fact that they have a master's degree. They have a doctor's degree. Fine. How does all that translate to the relationship? Because a lot of women,
that's that woman that's probably going to be more pointed about asking you, what do you bring to the table?
and that's fine. But the problem becomes that women aren't going to take care of a man in a relationship. So her money, her level of education doesn't mean anything to him unless she's going to support him. We already know from a show that we did a couple of weeks ago that a woman in a financially advantageous position is not taking care of a man. Conversely, men don't have that problem. That's almost across the board, no matter where you go. This is why women are always looking to marry a man that's doing better than she is financially, because she's saying to herself, I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about if I lose employment. I don't have to worry about anything having to do with finances. He's got it covered. I can go out and live the life I want to. If I want to go out and buy these pair of $400 shoes, this $400 purse, I can do that. If I want to go out on a night on the town, I can say, babe, I want to go out. Can you take me out? Conversely, men rarely do that. So the thing about it becomes, what is it that ultimately a female is going to bring that's going to complement what that man has and what that man wants? And that's why I said, if it's a relationship, a one-night stand, a long-term friends with benefits, or whatever the case is, ultimately that man is going to be looked at for what he can do for her. So if that man isn't getting anything out of the deal, then does he really want to sign up for that? Does he really want to sit to that table when else you're saying, look, I got my anatomy, that's all I need. I got my beauty, that's all I need. I got my youth, that's all I need.
Well, I mean,
does a man really want to sign up for that?
On the one hand, you say that, and on the other hand, you say a man doesn't care about her education, how much money she makes, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, they do.
So, I mean, it's like
no,
talking
I'm saying,
what's it gonna be? We
no.
want her to have some education and some money, or we just want her to be arm candy.
No, I'm saying that if she's not going to finance the relationship, then that matters. Most women aren't. So her education doesn't mean anything. If she's not going to be willing to take out her money out of her pocket, pay the mortgage, pay the electric, pay the water, pay the car notes, then her education doesn't mean anything. A man that's about his business, meaning he can take care of the house financially, he wants a woman that's feminine. He wants a woman that's cooperative. He wants a woman that can cook, clean, and if they have kids, take care of those things. He'll cover the rest because he's already doing that anyway. He just wants somebody to come along on that journey with him. That's it. So when that question is asked, it's not asked to be offensive. It's asked to see what you can do to enhance what he has. It's the old adage. If we bring a woman a bag of groceries, she'll make you a 5-course meal. If we buy a woman a nice house, she'll make it a nice home. But if you give a woman a whole lot of grief, be prepared for a whole lot of shit. That's how that rolls out. That's why those questions are asked. Now they're asked tongue in cheek because people don't want to be, like you said, in the presence of good company. They don't want to be offensive. They want to be viewed as cordial. They want to be viewed as respectful. But in this day and age, when relationships are so fleeting, you don't actually have the time to sit down there and play nice with people because you may only get 1 or 2 dates. And after that, they're on to the next man because you didn't spark their interest. You didn't click. There was no chemistry. So as opposed to, it's like Alan Roger Curry says, he says, look, with his mobile approach, look, I just want to get in here, exchange mutual orgasms, and be on about our way. Now, there are some women that would take offense to that, and there are some women that wouldn't. It's all going to be contingent upon what that woman wants, what that man wants, and what they mutually talk about. You get some people that'll meet up, and in that moment, they'll just say, you know what? It was in the heat of the night. That's all I wanted. But if you're looking to establish a long-term relationship with somebody, then I tell people I'm an open, when it comes to certain things, I'm open. We sit there, we can have a conversation about anything you want to. I believe it's best so that way we're not wasting each other's time. And this is one of the other things that Alan Roger Curry talks about in his book, Mo 1, is manipulative time wasters. Some women just want that attention. They don't want anything else. They just want that male attention. I can call him and talk to him about anything. I get my fix and then I'm gone.
Now
meanwhile, she's sitting there wasting your time.
Now go ahead, finish your thought. Go finish your thought.
Okay. Can I throw something out there? It's a little curveball I would throw out there about between Herb and Sir Anthony with this box wine stuff.
Yeah, going in about that wine.
I would tell you, box wines are good for house parties, and that's it. You should not be serving dinner to a woman at your house and pull out a box of wine or with a nozzle on it and open it up and fill her glass. you need to at least
Please
have
don't.
one regular bottle of wine in the house for that occasion. That wine is for when you sitting at home chilling by yourself, or if you at a house party.
See, Willie, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Box wine.
Too
And
many of y'all out here flossing. Y'all fronting whatever.
There are some good box wines.
Wait a minute. How? How is that?
Them box wines should be left at a party, or when you got the boys over, y'all watching the game or something like that. But you don't serve dinner. You making a steak dinner, like a steak dinner, lobster, all this stuff. You gonna pull out a box of wine. Oh,
Please
come on, man. Don't
do it.
Am I right, Chris?
Whether it's coming from a bottle or a box, you go drink it, whatever.
No,
I'm not saying I would have a box of wine, but damn, do it really matter? Stop fronting with that.
It does matter. It does matter.
All right, so we're talking about box wine versus bottle wine.
I gotta say something about this. Box wine. When I saw St. Anthony said it, then Herb said it too. I'm like, no, y'all can't do the box wine, man. Y'all got. Yo, I'm telling you, need to have a bottle of wine at home, and not a screw top, because you can get some nice wines with the cork, and get a corkscrew open. They don't cost that much, and then get and leave that box wine for when the fellas come over. Y'all watching the game, or you going to a house party or something. They set it out on the table, and everybody open the nozzle, get a drink, but that shouldn't be. Not inviting a woman over that you got interest in to have dinner, and you go, pull out a box of wine. Don't do that, fellas. Don't do that. Don't do that, fellas.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. When I did want to share some woman, she came with her definitive thing. This is what she brings to the table. She said a sense of humor. Before me, he really had no sense of humor, very uptight. And sometimes that means everything. You have somebody outgoing, social, bring you out of your shell, and have you get out your comfort zone. That can mean everything. That can make you better at your job. Like you said, relax, less stress. She said, adventure, exploring, teaching him new things in life to enjoy. He was all work, no play, whatever. And family closeness. He has a small family, and they didn't really communicate. Beauty and self-humanity. See, that's confidence right there. That's someone who already know this is what I can do for you by observing him, saying this is what you need, and this is what I can do, what I bring to the table. Hell, if you're a man and somebody coming like that, you're like, damn, okay. Like I gotta respect that. So. There's people who already have or know they know they know what they bring out in certain individuals. So that question don't mean shit to them. You can ask it however you want to ask it, and they're gonna have the same answer because they know what they bring.
Mm-hmm. And I can respect that. I just still have that. I just still feel like it's like. You're asking for an advertising slick, and I feel like if you really are interested in me, then your qualities are going to show through, and you're going to basically see mine as they unfold. But I guess that's my whole thing is I don't move quickly like that anyway. Well, I'm not in a rush.
But hold up. It sounds like y'all was advertising with the damn bottle of wine and corkscrew, whatever, instead of having a box of wine, whatever. Seemed like y'all flossing and fronting. Wine is wine.
If you pull out a box of wine, then I'm going to use my special set of skills that I bring to the table and introduce you to some cork bottle wine. Okay? How about that?
Okay, then next time you can come with that. Like, this is some fine wine. And you be like, okay, I know about that. I just picked up this Moscato or whatever the kinds of wine. And I'm trying to think. And this Moscato.
And Moscato's a good one. Moscato's a good one. They come with a cork in it, not in a box. When I saw that, I was like, come on now, fellas. We got that one. That's not a good one.
I'm a bottle man myself. I don't, I'd avoid boxes, but hey, to each their own.
Like I said, it's cool. It's cool. You know, you sitting at the house, you got one by yourself, or you have one in the house just to chill out with, you know, or if you're having a party, a house party, is that kind of thing. But if you're inviting a woman to your house to make dinner, and you make this nice dinner, set up the table really nice, candlelight, and then you pull out a box of wine, that ain't gonna
You just
work.
blew the whole ambiance.
Y'all killing me. Y'all killing me. Y'all
Blew the
killing
whole
me.
ambiance.
Y'all killing me.
Yep.
Y'all killing me.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That'll mess it up.
But I can see in the comments this box of wine is a no-no. Fellas, if you haven't learned anything, don't get the damn box of wine. Don't
Not
get
for
it.
dinner.
Don't do it.
If
Don't
you're making
do it.
dinner. And that's all the time, fellas. Not just for that first date or that second date. That's all the time. Have a bottle of wine there that she likes or that you like or whatever, that is a bottle with a cork. Not well, we don't date a couple times, I can bring out the box. No, don't do it. Don't do it. That's one thing.
And I tell you what, fellas,
don't switch up on that one. I'm telling you.
if you're worried about the cost of a good bottle of wine, what I would tell you to do is join a wine club. You have some of them out here that'll give you $100 off your first case, which I think a case is like 15 bottles. So you end up getting a case of wine essentially for about $20 a bottle. You know, which is a very good price.
I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that. Y'all do too much. Y'all do way too much. Y'all do way too much.
I'm telling you.
I'm not gonna buy a case of wine, but you can get a nice bottle of wine for, you know, not for under $20. You know, it may not be the most expensive, but you can get a nice bottle of wine that you know, a lot of women like sweet wines anyways. Very few women like really dry wines. You like really dry wines?
I like dry and semi-dry. I'm not a big Moscato fan.
Okay.
There's a
Like
few
what?
Moscatos out there that are
That's what I remember.
What's a
semi-dry.
dry wine that you would suggest for
I
a
don't.
guy?
It doesn't have to be like super dry, but
Yeah.
like a Sauvignon Blanc.
What?
Like
What?
A Blanc wine. Yeah.
Mm.
Those
Yeah.
Pinot Grigio and all that stuff tastes like gasoline. I don't fool with that one.
I don't want it to be too dry. Like I don't
Well,
want it to be so dry it tastes like vinegar, but
Yeah.
I like a semi-dry.
So like a Blanc, you said. Okay.
Yeah, and even like a Riesling that it's kind of sweet,
Rieslings
but
are
not
good.
as sweet
Yeah.
as a
Moscatos.
yeah.
Yeah, Moscatos are very sweet, but a Riesling is pretty good.
Uh-huh.
And you can get those, fellas, with a cork, not in the box. So be prepared. Then it don't cost that much. You can find a decent one, decent price. You know.
Yeah, you really can. Claire Carr, getting back to the topic, Claire Carr said, I mean, the first date is the same thing as a job interview. Do I want the job or not? And so I'm assuming she means like the question, obviously, what do you bring to the table? But again, to me, a first date, yeah, to a certain degree, it's like a job interview, but it's like, can you hold a conversation? You know?
Yeah.
It's to me, that initial date is more of how do you present yourself, not all right, let's get down to meat and potatoes. What do you do for a living? How much do you make with, you know?
And people don't communicate. They don't conversate. You know, you meet people and they want to text you. You know, they'll send you 20,000 texts instead of picking up the phone and having a conversation. You don't have to do a FaceTime, but at least talk to the person. Be able to hold a conversation. You know, go out to a park or go somewhere like that and have a conversation while you're walking in the park. People walking in the park and not even talking to each other, you know, because people have gotten so far away from communication and having conversation that, you know, texting is the thing now. And I hate texting.
Maybe
I'm a
people
texter.
maybe people should just do stuff that's fun. Go bowling on the first date. I don't know, something.
But let me say this. I say that, but that's because I I do love conversation, but I like in-person conversation.
Right. Right.
I mean,
and so do I. And like I said, for the
so
most
like
part,
you
I'll
said, going for a walk or like David said, going bowling or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be let's sit down and stuff our faces.
right. I'm not doing that. I don't do dinner dates.
Because that could be
then
very
again, like you're
intimidating.
saying, first date and stuff like that. That's another one of those things. It's kind of like, let's see what type of imagination you have about dating, or is it just okay, let's go to a movie and a movie and dinner, dinner and movie.
Let's go eat.
Let's sit silently in a movie where we're not getting to know each other.
Yeah, that's
let's eat dinner where we're not supposed to talk.
Let's eat dinner where
not talking our mouths open with our food in our mouths.
I was gonna say while we could watch each other's food spill out of their mouth while we talk. Okay,
that's why I don't do dinner dates. I never do dinner dates. That was my post the other day about what can you do for $50 on a date, and most of the women posted dinner. I'm not taking you to dinner. You better eat before you get.
But you can even get more creative than that, and I feel you on that. I actually don't find that offensive because, like I said before, how creative are you? Let's go to the museum. It could be cheaper than $50 for real.
It is. I've done it.
Well, let me.
But you have some people who can't appreciate a museum. And so that if that's what you're into, you find out, okay, that person, and that's what happened. I took a person to see the mummy, King Tut mummy exhibit, and they had not a clue, and they didn't enjoy it. I had a great time.
So did they act up? Did they act up like kids? Did they cut a phone?
That was our first and only date. That was it. I wanted somebody to go to the museum with me, and I said, hey, you want to hang out? We were just starting to talk and meet each other. This is something I enjoy doing. I enjoy art museums. I enjoy concerts, like not rap concerts and stuff, but like concerts, nice music concerts, whatever. Going to museums, and I said, hey, the mummy exhibit is going to be in Buffalo. Want to go check it out? And she's like, hey.
So see, again, there was that organic observation of whether or not you can move forward or not, instead of what do you bring to the table.
but see, that's what I see in that particular date that Willie suggested was culture. Are you cultured? And that's what he found out about her without asking. Now, I'm a proponent of asking. In addition to what Willie said, I would suggest a wine tasting. We were just talking about wine tasting. I just had a conversation a little while ago with somebody, and Moscato was the word that I couldn't remember. A lot of people think Moscato is a good brand. Moscato's bottom barrel. I'll tell you now, bottom barrel. With that being said, you can actually go on a wine tasting for $15, $20. You can get out after that wine tasting, go for a walk in the park. Have your discussion. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Do you have kids? Were you ever divorced? All those things. See, all those things, when you have a conversation, lets you know what an individual does bring to the table or they don't bring to the table. Are they compatible?
Okay, and it lets you see it organically.
Yes, but what I'm saying is this. What you do beforehand is going to affect what happens during. You're saying organically, and I don't disagree, but what happens if the date never progresses to that point to where you can ask those kind of conversations? What if you get an individual that doesn't like to conversate, or they don't know how to conversate or converse, as the word should be?
So that's
so
what
how do you elicit?
If it was two
how
people
do you elicit?
like that?
Yeah. How do you elicit that information to somebody who just sits there in their statue?
That would tell you all you need to know, I would think.
That'll be it. That'll be our last date.
That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. If you're on that date, and I'll give you I love talking about my life. My life is like a movie.
We love your stories, Willie. We love them.
I just be like, where do he find them?
I recently went on this date, and one of the first things I said is that, I enjoy conversating. I believe in communication. I said, but one of the things I don't like talking about is politics. I said politics that I try to stay away from on, when I'm talking to a person or when on a date or whatever. This person proceeded to make the whole evening about politics. The rest of the evening was all every time she
And
was
so you stated to this person that you did not want to talk about politics.
Because
and
she
they
started
proceeded to talk about politics.
And she proceeded to talk about politics. So that was our last date.
But see what I'm saying? So you didn't
I smiled, I laughed, I talked, and made the best of that.
It was very engaging until it was over, and then.
And when I said goodbye, I meant goodbye.
Right. So but again, that's my point. You learned what you needed to know that it wasn't going any further. You didn't have to say, "What do you bring to the table?" Oh, well, I love talking about politics. How about you?
Yep.
You didn't have to.
And I said, no, I don't. I said, I don't mind talking about politics, but that's not something I want to talk about on a regular basis. I said, especially tonight, I want to get to know you and find out who you are, who you are and things you enjoy doing. I said, but I don't really want to get into a lot of political conversation. And that was the entire night. And then while we're talking, she was sending me political videos. I'm like, are you for real? So
there's somebody out there for that person.
Yeah, yes, there is. Let me ask: Does she ever run for a political office?
No.
Some people are just passionate about politics.
I
wish I could get her number. I got somebody I could hook her up with for real.
But I am passionate about politics, but it wasn't, wasn't for me. I'm involved in politics, but I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, because Willie's ran before. I have too. I'm passionate about politics, but I understand there's a time and place for that. And this is the thing that we have to learn.
Some people really are that obsessed.
Yeah.
But there's somebody out there for them. So again, my thing is, it all starts there with that dating. 1 or 2 days, you're gonna know whether or not. Some of those questions already. What do you bring to the table? Can you hold a conversation that doesn't involve politics? Can you hold a conversation that doesn't involve your religious point of view?
Mm-hmm. And see the thing with that.
Can you go on a date that doesn't involve dinner and be engaging and enjoy yourself?
And see the thing with that, Christine. I don't. You have to be pretty much a stern or a prude as guy to just come out direct and answer that. What do you bring to the table? That means you pretty much looking for something specific. And you're trying to get them to communicate that. And if they can't, they failed the test. And like you said, there's other ways around it without saying it. So you already know, like certain things you do, like, they don't fit the bill. Oh, she want to talk about politics. I have the least interest to talk about that all night long. So it's certain things I know what they bring to the table. They like politics. They loud as hell. Shit, they're greedy as hell. They're greedy as hell. They like to drink they drink my whole box of wine.
You want to crack open that second box of wine, please?
So you already know, like, this is what they bring to the table. No, that's not it. That's not it.
Let's see. I'm a different type of cat. When it comes to religion and politics, personally speaking, I don't think anything is offhand on a first date. I just don't. Because like I said, if the object of a first date is to getting to know an individual, I want to know what the boundaries are and what they want to discuss and what they don't want to discuss, because what they don't want to discuss could potentially tell me more than anything they want to discuss. Because a lot of people, they don't want to reveal themselves. And my whole thing is, if you don't want to reveal yourself, then why are you here?
So if a person told you, if a person, you're out on a date and some kind of way politics came up and the person said, well, I really don't like talking about politics or religion, those kind of things. I just really want to just get to know you. And so would you continue to bring up politics and religion in the conversations to her?
Yes, but I would do it in a skillful manner.
What? How would that be skill? If a person says to you that they prefer not to talk about things like that, especially on the first date, and there, I can't see. Well, maybe you'd have to show us, but to see a skillful way of being able to bring that back into conversation without it being annoying or aggravating to the person, and that's what happened with me. And I think what happened was I mentioned that because we were talking about what we did earlier that day before we got together, and I mentioned that I had went to a political meeting, and that's how politics came up. And so
you opened the door.
Right. And so once she started talking about politics, I said, well, you know what? I said, I really don't like talking about politics. I said it was something I went to today because I needed to check out some people that were there. But I said, I really don't like talking about politics, especially, on the first date when I'm trying to get to know you. I said, I would like to know just who you are and, that you get to know me. I said, I don't want to just be here talking about politics. And it was like I was talking to the wall. And she was talking loud too, like Dave said, very loud. When you have to say to a person 5 times, please use your inside voice, like you're in a classroom somewhere.
That's when you say, okay, use their inside voice. See how they sound?
Because she was talking so loud, and I was just like embarrassed. I mean, I was like, shh, like, come on, like inside voice.
Yeah, you just finished the day
with
a smile, and then afterwards, like there's no communication after that. Limited communication after that.
She tried to kiss me. I said, I don't kiss on the first date, but it was nice.
Well, you got a lot of restrictions, man. She tried to kiss.
See, y'all talk about me and my football Sunday.
Yeah.
But the way, honestly, the way I would do it is this. I would ask, what are your aversions? I would ask, what are your aversions to discussing politics on the first date? Because if we get that far down the line, I'm going to know anyway. That's what I would ask.
But she wasn't giving him an opportunity to learn anything about herself. If all she's talking about that's a real good way to stay off of you.
Well, let me put it to you like this. The way you weave that into is ask her, well, how did you get into politics to begin with? At what age did you take a liking? See, he didn't want to discuss it at all. Well, I'm not averse to it. That's the difference.
But that's something you're into. So I mean, that would be that person would probably be a good match for you because you guys would be able to talk about that. Whereas for me, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to talk about politics. Even once I get to know you, we may talk. We may eventually get into that aspect. But when you get into politics and religion, you start to bump heads. That unnecessarily. So. So for me, I think, getting to know a person and then being able to eventually talk about some political things and religion and, because
you've already built a rapport at that point. And
at that point,
you're more likely to be respectful of each other's opinions.
All right. That's fair enough. Let me ask you this. If you were going to buy a home, would you want to know about the foundation's cracks before you bought it or after you bought it?
I don't think the comparison.
That's not a good comparison. But
okay. Let me use another one.
So I already know the answer to that.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is this: we something in my.
Don't cry.
I'm gonna throw a curveball out there. I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna throw a curveball out there because this is what happens when most people come to buy a home. They don't even look at the foundation. They look at all the decorations and the landscaping and the pretty bathrooms and the pretty bedrooms. They look at all the exterior beauties of the property. They have no idea about the foundation most of the time until the inspector comes or until, if they don't have a good inspector, until they move into the house. Now they're stuck with a situation with a bath, which is just like a relationship. You're looking at all that beauty and all that good looks and all those things, and the decorations, and then once you get involved in that relationship, you find out she got a lot of cracks and flaws that you didn't see in the beginning, or he has a lot of cracks and flaws that you don't see in the beginning. But initially, you're looking at that exterior and trying to find out what's on the inside.
But that's exactly my point.
So you got to spend time to find out what's
exactly.
No, you do not. I'm going to tell you now, you do not.
I'm telling you.
Okay, let's use something similar to the house, but we're going to keep it a little simpler.
Sure.
A car. You see this car, you're looking to buy a car. It's what you want. You like this style. It rides good. It looks nice on the inside and the outside. It's real clean. You know, you ask the owner, well, does it have any problems? No. Not this car? No, this car is perfect. It's perfect. Never given me a problem in the 3 years that I've had it. It's never given me any problems. It's the perfect car. Now you asked a direct question.
But until you start driving, once you pay that money and drive it home, that's when you find out what you really got.
Now, before I answer the question,
a week later, you're driving the car. And
hold on, Christine. Hold on, Christine. I have to ask this question just for clarification's sake. Is it a brand new car or is it a used car? Because most of the people we're dealing with on the market are used.
It's a used car. It's got a previous owner.
Did you know what?
99.9% of people probably used.
Then I'm going to have my mechanic. Check it out.
Okay, so your mechanic checks it out and he gives you the okay on it.
Oh, then I got caught up. Then
the previous owner, does it have any problems?
I'm not taking you on his word for it.
3 weeks into driving the car, start hearing the engine knocking.
But even with
the previous owner put motor honey in there to hide that noise. You didn't hear it. Your mechanic missed it, but you asked a direct question.
Yeah, put that 50 weight oil in there and keep that knocking off.
So without
I understand that, and I'm not defending that.
You are not going to catch everything up by asking, "Hey, what do you bring to the table?"
I'm not
know where your crazy spots are. Let me,
I'm not saying you are, but what I'm saying is this: when an individual
triggers your neurosis.
No, when an individual refuses to discuss something, usually there's an underlying reason why. Because if you're on the up and up with something, you have no problem disclosing something. Whatsoever.
That depends on the topic. That depends on the topic. Like I said, religion and politics is not something I want to discuss on the first date. And so
I'm game. I'm game.
So, right. I know. And that's why I said for you, this person probably would have been a good date for you. But for me, that wasn't what I wasn't there to talk about politics. I was there to find out more about that person and basically what they bring to the table without saying what you bring to the table. But, and so through the conversation, I did find out some things in between the political talk, but, I already knew that was going to be the last outing. It was just, I was trying to make the best of the evening and, make it enjoyable. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be, disrespectful. I'm not going to be cold. I'm going to, have a nice conversation and be polite. But when I walked her to her car and I said goodbye, I meant goodbye. That was it. I knew. Well, no second date.
If someone was talking about politics the whole time, unless it was a connection to both of you, it was no point of talking about it. And
there was no connection.
It had to be a personal connection or some driving force to talk about it and say, and so you can kind of see like, okay, this is what she thinks about this. This is what he feels about it. But if she's just talking about Donald Trump or old ass Biden or whoever, what the hell that got to do with us right now?
The black caskets that they got in some city, we're gonna put all the bodies. It was all over the place. Everything that I was not even trying to hear about. I mean, it went from left field to right field.
Oh, wow, you just exposed everything that needed to be exposed when you said that.
I just grinned and bared it.
Everybody on the panel kind of wait.
Excuse my language. Excuse my language. Willie, you should have told her to get the fuck out your face. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, at that point, she was off the rails.
I was nice and polite. And when it was over, walked her out to her car. It was nice meeting you. Hugged her. She tried to kiss. Like I said, tried to kiss. No, I don't kiss on the first date. Give him exactly. And gave her a little hug. And I walked
she tried to kiss you, right? Is that the same one?
Yeah, she tried to kiss me.
Oh, Sir Anthony said, "Tell us how she looked."
That was another problem too.
If you gonna tell it, Willie, tell it.
That was a problem. Did you just say
that was a problem? Yeah, that was the other problem.
If you gonna tell it, Willie, tell it.
I don't want to say it because she might be watching.
Well, she didn't heard all this shit.
She know now.
I'm not gonna talk about the exterior. It wasn't fit and healthy. It wasn't fit and healthy. I'll tell you that. So needless to say, like I said, I knew it was going to be the first and last, but I just didn't want to be rude. You know.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that, Willie, because that's one of the things I have down here. Let me go through the pros that I have for women when it comes to what they bring to the table. I got a list: cooking, youth, and the youth includes physical attractiveness and reproductive ability. Education, and education is on both ones, like we were talking about earlier, Christine. Money management skills. Is she good at managing money? Emotional stability, critical thinking, humble, reciprocator, fidelity, and consistency. Those were the pros that a woman could bring to the table. Now the cons: children from a prior relationship, education, hubris or her attitude, unapologetic, infidelity, as Willie just mentioned, weight and inconsistency. Those were the cons. So these are some of the things that I had list for pros and cons for women when they can bring to the table. We had a lady earlier who answered about what she brought to the table. It really, when you look at it in this perspective, it's not difficult for a woman to set herself up as a catch.
So
for a man, go ahead, Christine.
I'm a little confused, and so when you this list that you just read, is that the pros?
It was a list of both pros and cons.
Is that overall for a man? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's his.
Yes,
that's your pros.
For a lot of men. For a lot of men, not just me.
Not for you.
Yes.
See, you said no children. I don't care if they have children. It depends.
No. That's what I said. For a lot of men,
said ability to reproduce, and that's why I was stopping and wanted to know. Okay, so who is that? Who does that represent?
But he said
that represents. Children. Hold on, no. That was the ability to reproduce is a pro for men who are looking to have children.
Okay.
The con is a man who's
and
not.
And if she doesn't have children, you don't know what her ability to reproduce is.
Well, the assumption is the younger she is, the more viable she's going to be able to be in terms of reproduction.
Okay.
Well,
exactly.
That's why I said the natural assumption is she's going to be. I'm not saying that she will be. Usually, women under the age of 30, barring any medical situation, can reproduce. We know there are the assumptions.
Is that your dating range? Is that your dating range?
My dating range is kind of restricted in terms of what I'm not looking for. So this is not for me.
Oh, okay.
Because reproductiveness would be a con for me. I don't want a woman that can reproduce.
Right. That's why I answered that question.
Because I'm not looking to have children. That's why I said this list isn't specific for me. This is just a general list and what a lot of men would or would not be looking for, regardless of what their age is.
So what would your range be? Speaking specifically of you, what would your range be?
And dating wise, I would say between the ages of 25 and 50. But of course, that comes with some
That's a hell
caveats.
of a range. That's a hell of a range.
I just look at Willie expression.
Well, I'm only 49, so why? I mean, why would I not? Why would I not cast a net that wide?
How old are you? You said? I'm sorry, I missed.
49.
Oh, okay. That's a hell of a range though. But I can understand where you would say the childbearing range then. But for me, I'm plus or minus 5 on the 47. So 42 to what, 52 for me. And that's because I don't want children. And if they do have children, I want the children to be at an age where they're basically out of the house or on their way out of the house or in college somewhere where that's not going to be a hindrance to our relationship. Where if I say, let's go, I want to take you on a trip or let's go out to dinner, I got to find a babysitter. No, I'm not doing that. So for me, I need someone that has at least the possibilities or the potential to be able to get up and go when I'm ready to get up and go, if that's something that, I would like to do. So 42 to 52 is my range, but I definitely don't want children.
Let me throw this little caveat in there for the old heads that's looking for women and they want to still reproduce. Yeah, I do realize it's another component of that, the child. Like when they're in like middle school and your ass is 70 and the rest of the kids, their fathers is 28, 29, and you got to come to the concert or the farewell and they like, is that your grandfather? And they're like, you realize that create some tension with the kids that they sometimes when you wonder why when they're walking ahead of you and you're like, slow down, where are we going? You got to show us. And they like, I do not want to be seen with my father that's 70 years old and my peers start asking. So that's something to think about too, like far as what kids think, like and you're older and you're elderly and they're out there, their father's in excellent condition. They're out there throwing the football, playing basketball. And you're like, yeah, my dad.
Being the coach in some cases.
So that's, I don't know. That is not always a great look, but I know it's some guys that's still out there maybe trying to find a younger woman and have a child. But think about that kid as well, because he's going to embarrass you and may not claim you like you want to be claimed, even though you got a pocket full of money. But when he get around his peers, nah, that's my granddad or whatever.
Normally a person like that is normally a selfish person. When they want, when they're normally a selfish person, they don't want the kid because it's like a sense of pride to them that I can still make a baby. It's not so much when you get up in those numbers like that, you're not making a baby because you're trying to start a family. Very rarely is that the case. You normally have some kind of ulterior motive as to why you're trying to make a baby with this woman or any woman. Sometimes they do it to try to keep the woman in check. Just like some women have a baby because they know that's going to be a way where they have that tie to that man no matter what. If I'm gonna be tied to you, I want to be tied to you because I want to be tied to you. If you in that 42 to 52 range, more than likely you're not trying to have a kid. And if we together, we're gonna be together because we're trying to build something together, not because we got a kid that we have to be forced to be with each other for the next 18 to 20 something years.
And even that doesn't work out often. That's a sad fact of human interactions and relationships today in this modern culture.
Yeah, it's a lot to be said.
Yep. What do you bring to the table, ladies? What do you bring to the table? Because a lot of y'all may need to go to a few cooking classes, house cleaning classes, YouTube do-it-yourself cleaning, cooking.
Oh,
because there's a lot of women that I find nowadays you don't find a lot of women, and they get offended about wanting them to cook, which really bothers me. The fact that you get offended because the man that wants to be involved with you says that he would like for you to cook dinner sometime. I'm not going out like her was talking about 3 times a week. I'm not going out to dinner 3 times a week. We're lucky to go out twice a month.
At $50, Applebee's 2 for $20.
That's it. Hey, I may not do an Applebee's, but see, my thing is I'll take that $50 and go buy some lobster, some steak, some shrimp, and some baked potatoes and some broccoli, and come home and make a dinner, all for under $50. Which is what I did.
Hey, was that your cooking? That plate, was that your
That was
cooking?
me. Yeah, I made that.
Okay. Ladies.
That was me.
Step your game up.
Don't sleep on this man, ladies. you need to see that plate.
That's me.
But this is by and large what men are saying. Men are saying if this is speaking for the men that can do this. Men are saying if we can take care of home, if we can cover the finances, then at least the bare minimum you can do is assume the other half of what makes this house run. Now, whether a woman takes offense to that or thinks it's beneath her is a different conversation, because I don't know any man that thinks going out, working, paying bills, and being able to take care of his kids and his wife in that sense is beneath him. So the other, if that's one shoe on one foot, then why does the other shoe on the other foot feel so uncomfortable? And that's what we talk about when we ask, what do you bring to the table? Now, if you're not willing to bring anything to the table, you think you are the table, then go out there and find somebody else that's willing to set the table for you. But keep in mind that when you say you are the table, don't be mad when people start putting things on that table for you to do, and don't become resentful. So if you're out there making money, talking about you can pay the cost to be the boss, then pay the cost to be the boss. So don't talk about you want help paying the insurance, the mortgage, car notes, taking care of the kids, or anything of that ilk, because men aren't complaining about it. And that's where the I want to do this comes in, and I don't want to do this, and I don't feel like I have to do this because I have a man. Well, you weren't saying that 20 minutes ago when you was talking about you at the table. You don't have to bring nothing to the relationship.
If somebody tells you, I am the table, then to me, that was their answer to the question.
Well, if that's the answer, then I'm going to say, please elaborate. Please elaborate. You got to give more. To me, that's just a cop out. I am the table.
I do agree, it's a cop out.
Yeah,
but I don't know. To me, it's almost like saying, I don't want you. That's if I was a man, that's how I would take it. If we were gonna have that conversation, and what do you bring to the table? Well, I am the table. Oh, let me get my keys and be up out of here. Is how I would take it. But then again, depends as a man on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a woman to take care of you, she just told you she will, in my opinion.
Yeah, she will, but she's going to be resentful. This is why they put homosexuals out of their house once they reach their usefulness. That's where the resentment comes in. Conversely, you don't find men that put women out of the house when they don't, quote unquote, carry their load financially, because men are carrying that load.
Yeah, that's just cold-hearted.
But it happens.
Very rarely do you find a man putting a woman out of the house.
It happens.
I'll say very rarely, though, but over finances. It's very rare that a man will put a woman out over finance. A woman will put a man out a lot faster over finances than a man will a woman.
Yep.
And that's the truth right there. He will try to figure out a way to make it work, whereas a woman, quite often they're going to give them a few minutes, not even a long time, to figure it out, And if he don't come up with a way to bring up his end, she want him out.
Probably already have his shit packed up when he
Exactly.
wherever he at work or whatever. Come back, like you got to go.
You got a timetable on him.
Why is that? Why is that?
Yeah, Claire. Let Claire Carr. Claire
said you can't buy all that shit, Willie, with $50. What you smoking?
Chris,
that was a serving for one.
Then you know that was for two. Think about it.
He was describing a serving
cut in
for
half. The lobster was cut in half, and I had the lobster all done. I had shrimp, I had steak, I had baked potatoes, and I had string beans, and I had Boston cake, all for under $50. I cook. This is what I do. I know how to cook, I know how to shop. So
bingo.
I bought all that for under $50. It was like $45 altogether.
But see, again, in my opinion, and this is just Christine's world. If we're going out, spending time together like that, like, after a few dates, of him taking me out, then I would want to invite him over and show off my skills, my cooking skills.
Thank you, because I thought that was a lost art. Because what my thing, my slogan is, can I get a damn sandwich? Can I get a damn sandwich? Turkey, cheese, lettuce, whatever, black pepper, something, whatever. Can I get a damn sandwich? That's my slogan. And some chips would be extra.
And ladies, when you do invite him over, just like the fellas with the box wine, please do not serve me on a paper plate. Do not serve me on a paper plate.
You don't want to go with that paper plate.
No paper plates. No, don't serve me on the paper plate. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Especially for first dinner too.
Maybe the third.
Not any dinner. No.
Maybe the third.
No, I don't
know. Get on that roll with the paper plate thing.
No paper plates are only good for picnics and when you have mass gatherings where you don't want to be doing dishes.
Picnics and what's some things after?
If I have a big family function with 30, 40 people, I'm serving it on paper plates.
I expect that. Yes, that's expected.
You come handing me by plate on some doggone paper plate. Nah.
Dixie, baby. Eat up on that Dixie.
Whatever.
Chinette.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the fancy one. That's the fancy one.
I know. I don't do no paper plates, man.
Yeah, that paper plate China thing
ladies,
is...
ladies, no paper plates. Fellas, no boxes. No box wine.
But again, as far as bringing to the table, that gives that man, just like he's displaying what he brings by taking her out, doing things with her, spending money on her, and then she invites him to a home cooked meal. She's allowing him in, see how she keeps the house, how her hospitality, her cooking skills, so it that becomes that given take, that exchange of.
And I think
you get no disagreement from me.
How do you feel about date night? You're like, for example, the person says, I think it would be nice if we did like a date night where once a month I pick a date, once a month you pick a date, and you plan it and do the things, whatever you want to do. It's your night to plan a date for us, and once a month, the same month I'll plan. So every other week we do a date night. How would you feel about a person saying that to you? Would you be willing to do something like that?
I would.
A lot of women wouldn't.
Why?
But I think that's kind of dumb not to.
They don't think they should have to take a man out.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
See?
Oh, you mean I'd have to pay still? I'd have to pay?
Well, who the hell? I mean, yes. Oh, see, that's the whole key right there. That's the key
I
right
wish I
there.
could snap a picture of what your face looked like.
That's the key right there. But again, that's how you find out how a person is. If you say, you know, how
But
do you
no,
feel
that really
about date
doesn't
night?
sound like a bad idea because
Right.
then
But a lot of women wouldn't do that, and that's because that's the reason why, because they don't feel that they should have to take a man. Some women don't believe they should take a man out or even do a date night like that, unless, like you said, unless he's paying for giving her the money to do it and she's just planning it. But for her to actually take the role of, this is your night, you know, once a month you plan a night, once a month I'll plan a night, and every 2 weeks we're doing a date night. One where you plan it, one where I plan it, and then it shows your creativity in the relationship. But some people aren't that creative. They see it as, well, I'm not spending no money on a man. I'm not taking him out. So, you know, it shows you how a person is. That's what I look for. Those are the kind of things I do in a relationship. And some people aren't willing to do that. So right there, that tells me that I can't be with that person. I'm not going to be with that person. Because if it's not on me, if I'm not doing it, then normally we're not going to do anything in that situation. So again, they're not bringing to the table the things that I need to be brought to the table, and just being able to, you know, do something like that is big for me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the ultimate thing of reciprocation. Like, I could take you out and do all this stuff, and never you could show me appreciation, or whatever the case is. So, yeah, if you can't do that, then you already know, okay, this is what they bring to the table. They're selfish. They want everything on them. They don't appreciate what I do. I work hard, but I still try to find time to take you out so we can have some enjoyable moments. But then for you to plan something to try to reciprocate that, and you can't do it, hell no. It don't work like that.
It'll show you because if everything you do is on you, and I don't do selfishness.
That's why Alyssa reciprocated, because what a lot of people don't understand is most men will have no problem with doing for a woman.
Exactly.
Conversely, is she willing to also do for a man? And a lot of modern women don't think that they have to. They think all they have to do is exist.
Yeah.
And that's
but Christine, like you said, though, like even I know you got quiet, but that's okay. That's okay. But even say for your date night, that don't mean you have to spend money. You could do something. You know what I mean? It's creativity.
And
so you
now I just want to throw it out there that I was joking. I wanted the shock factor.
I know you were. But you could, like you said, invite them to your house and you do something at home to create. You know what I mean? It's not like me saying
you don't have to break your budget in order to do it.
You do like a movie night. But the thing is, it's your day, it's your night to create activity that we do based on things you enjoy doing or something you think will be nice for us to do together. So then based on that, that's your night to plan it. Then my night will be, whatever I plan. So and then that way you kind of can feel back and forth on what people are into and being able to see how you respond in different situations and just get to know a person. That's how you get to know a person.
Exactly. That's how you get to know a person, not per se, what do you bring to the table?
What do you bring to the table?
I'm still inquiring what you bring to the table. I'm just going to do it in a manner that isn't so overt. But then again, I got the 100 questions too, so.
Yeah, you do. You do got that grab bag of questions, so be prepared.
I tell people, if you want to know, hey, have that list. And what somebody's unwilling to tell you, you can leave it, or you can find a way to say, oh, okay, well, what are they hiding? Because there's nothing wrong with, and when I say that, I mean that in the sincerest manner. There's nothing wrong with withholding some information, if you will, that you think might scare somebody off. Now, you tell somebody you've been abused or you on psychotropic medication, I could understand you not
You're
willing
looking
to
at my file.
divulge that because you might.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
He went.
I got jokes for days. I'm sorry.
No, he went. He looked in that medicine cabinet when he went to the bathroom and seen that double lock box medication that was out there, whatever. I said, "Oh shit, I know what this is." So, fellas or whoever, when you invite somebody over and you know you taking that type of medicine, either you're gonna explain, yeah,
Hide it.
Yeah, you better hide
Better
it.
hide it.
Especially women, because they are nosy. They will open it up, whatever. Like, oh, let me just see what he got in here. Oh shit, I know what this is. This is just the generic brand
Look,
for this.
take a picture of that and look and Google what that's for.
I know that seems crazy that people do stuff like that, but it's happening, and they do it.
See, and Claire Carr, she says there, all questions. Can you cook? What do you do? If the vibe is right, it'll flow naturally, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Claire also said
vibes,
that she
my
don't
man.
get no
Look.
house if she dates.
Women love a vibe. I don't care about a vibe. I care about information. And information doesn't always come forth in a manner, particularly if you don't ask. Now, is there an ebb and flow to certain situations? Absolutely. But an ebb and flow is a lot different from a vibe, because some women won't get a vibe and they'll shut the whole thing down. They'll see that same individual out, quote unquote, having a vibe with another woman. They'll say, well, you didn't act like that with me because you shut it down. You didn't get a vibe, so you didn't continue the interaction. Say it again.
I said, then they got what they deserve. If you
See, this is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Christine. I was gonna say, but this is the thing with a lot of women that other women don't see, is they will accuse a man of holding back because he didn't discuss certain things with her, and now she feels cheated because the interaction didn't go according to what she had in her mind. A lot of women will conceive how a date should go as opposed to letting the date unfold. And when anyone sets these positions or sets these parameters up in their mind and they're not met, they are automatically disenchanted with the entire process, and sometimes disenchanted with the guy to where they'll go out and start bad mouthing this guy. Oh, he's a stick in the mud. He's no fun. He's devoid of personality. And you see him out next time and he's having a ball with somebody. You're like,
but
is that the same person?
But maybe their chemistry just didn't work together. So, I mean, he might be all that and that vibe and all that social stuff with another woman, but she didn't bring it out of him. So he's not for you. Keep it pushing.
Right. That's true.
Yes, that may be the truth. But we all know that a lot of women, simply put, don't want to hear the truth.
Okay,
they don't want to hear that they are the problem in a said relationship.
That right there.
Or multiple relationships.
There's a problem. So you did yourself a favor by not being involved. She did you a favor by finding you not entertaining enough in the first 15 minutes.
And for me, this whole vibe thing.
I'm sorry. Is it my connection that's cutting up? Because I'm not hearing anything right now.
It's you.
It's you.
Yeah, it's me. I'm delayed, so forgive me for not responding prudently.
Oh no, I was saying with this whole vibe thing, people get caught up to trendy little phrases and what's going on, and do they even really know what the hell they looking for? When you talk about, oh, he was a whole vibe, he was such and such. Like, what does that really mean? What does that really mean?
They don't know.
I didn't hear the question. That's why I didn't respond.
No, I said everybody's getting caught up in this, trendy catchphrases and stuff like that, talking about oh, he was a whole vibe, or mainly women say that because I don't like too many guys to say this stuff, whatever. And like, what does that really mean? Like, for you to say I didn't really vibe with him, like, how long does it take to vibe with somebody? Was it like an instant hit, or whatever the case is? Sometimes it may take a couple times to kind of figure things out. Then you're like, oh, we got a nice connection after this one. First date was kind of rocky, or it didn't go this way, but after we did this, okay, I'm willing to, go further. So it's just too much. Too much.
It depends on how critical the person is too, because a lot of times, like you said, it may take a couple of dates. So, but it depends on that first date. If there's some crazy red flags right off the bat, then you already know more than likely it's not going to be. But sometimes you meet a person and it could be a little shaky, but like, well, I like her conversation, I like her fit, nice look. I can take her out in public or whatever the case may be, whatever the attraction is.
So, you open up a can of worms, Willie.
But that's
slick, Willie. Take her out in public. What does that mean?
You got to be willing to take them out in public. If you can't take them out in public, then that's a whole different situation. And so, those things you look at. So you might say, well, you know what? We'll do something else. Maybe we'll get together again, do lunch, or go to a park and hang out, watch the sunset or whatever, and see where we go from there and see what we build on. But like I said, that first initial conversation, that first initial meeting, that's going to tell a lot. There is a vibe. There is a vibe because you're both going to be checking each other out. So, you start to determine then from that first meeting what you like, what you don't like, what you're watching to see, those things. You're looking for any signs. And some people are just critical that, they're picky and I don't like her shoes. So I'm not, she's not my type, or he too short, whatever case may be. So you have some people that's a stickler like that. But then you have some people that say, hey, I like their personality. We laughed, we talked, we had a good time. They may not be everything that I'm looking for right now, but as I get to know them, it might be pretty cool.
Might be worth investigating.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're right. You was right when you said there is a vibe, and that's probably just the gut feeling.
And that's what it's basically really gut feel. We call it gut feeling, but women call it a vibe.
And I think, more what David was describing is maybe based on, I don't know, say if you met on social media, based on their social media profile and presence, a woman might have had, or man might had in their mind certain expectations of how this person would be in person.
Yeah.
And that was the vibe they were looking for.
Yeah.
That was my date the other
and
night.
It didn't match up to what they thought. So
yeah, and that's just a simple thing with a resume looking good. All this stuff on paper is good. Then when you get for the interview, when the lights is bright and you're like, real, this person did all of that. This person led that. They were a leader like that. I didn't see that in the interview. That's why you got to be ready. You got to be ready. Even on dates and stuff, you got to be ready. Yep. And sometimes nervousness and all that stuff kick in. Yep. And like we were saying earlier, like sometimes some things could be intimidating, like going out to eat with a random stranger. If you think about it, that's kind of awkward, whatever, to be eating, whatever, and just chowing down in front of somebody. You might have some chicken, whatever. You might like, I ain't trying to play around with this shit and cut it with no knife and thing. I would have picked this up with my hand, and they look like, did he really eat it down like that, or whatever the case is? So you're already judged on that. So therefore, dinner dates and stuff wouldn't be good, but something that you can try to be yourself and bring out your personality would work better than you trying to, like I said, eat and carry on. Then you spill something on you or whatever the case is. It's just a
But
disaster.
that still should be a part of it. You're making me think about this. That should still be a part of it at some point in time, so you can know
eventually you go to
that
dinner, but
person is not a pig.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but like Willie said, eventually, but that
But
doesn't probably.
I don't do dinner dates on first dates.
Yeah,
I do, but I
that's-
screen well.
Also, when you mentioned about meeting people on social media, ladies and gentlemen, headshots can be very deceiving. Do your research. Headshots can be very deceiving. That's all I got to say on that subject. That's all I got to say.
I'm going, and I want to go back to Willie thing, but I want to read Snuggles thing. He said, when most of you men on the panel start dating a woman, how much money do you all put into that woman? If you don't mind me asking, I would like a ballpark figure if you don't mind.
What do you mean put into a woman, though?
Yeah, you got to define that a little bit better.
Yeah, what do you mean by put into a woman? How much money do you put into that woman? If you don't mind me asking, I would like to ballpark figure. Yeah, what do you mean by put into a woman? How much money do you put into a woman?
how much?
I don't know if he's. Go ahead, Christine.
I'm just wondering if he means how much do you invest, kind of researching whether or not you want to.
I think he's talking about like how much money you spend on her, like buying her stuff and taking her out. I think that's what he means. But I want them to tell me because I don't want to
assume.
Yeah,
jump off the bridge if I don't have to.
And before he even respond, I would think that depends on the individual. Some women they not about that life. They just enjoy being in your presence. So they don't care what you do. It could be the silliest things, whatever, and they okay with it. And they like, yo, we ain't. And they might tell you, I'm not that type of person that I want to be spending all this money and all that stuff. I just want to have fun. I want to spend time with you. Then you might have someone else that's their expectations and stuff like that. So I think it varies, whatever. What you do, especially if you.
So do you mean like a first date?
Person?
Is you talking about a first date, or are you talking about like the length of the relationship or ongoing? What like Anthony said on here, Danish and a coffee, is a good first date or whatever. Modern day rate is a cup of coffee and whatever Danish. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about when you say that.
D. Quinn says, stick to your own budget. And a lot of people, they get out of character with their budget and try to do something that they can't do because they, as Willie said, they may be looking at that headshot and thinking like, oh, man. And they get out of character.
Yes, we did get on her about the box wine. I'm not retracting on that. I'm not backing off of that.
I'm not either. I'm not either. Fellas, y'all heard me on that one. Don't do it.
Heard, man. Drink it. Pull out that box of wine. If she go drink, she go drink. No matter what. No matter. If that's all you got, if that's all you got, that box of wine, her ass gonna drink it.
She might drink it, but that might be her last drink, though. But she might drink it. Depends on who she is, though. Some may not know to appreciate more, or may not know any better. It depends.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. They out there. Yeah,
they are. There are some people
they
that
sure are. Just ain't me.
Right. That box tells a certain class of expectation on the person.
Okay, Willie, so this is gonna be your homework assignment that you have to post up about this box wine because Claire won't let it go. She said, I'd rather pull out a bottle of lemonade, which is cheaper than wine, than to pull out a box wine. LOL.
Thank you.
I have some ice water, please. Oh, stop.
Come on.
That's right, Claire. You know.
100%.
That's right, Claire. I agree with Claire too.
Yeah, tripping.
Right.
Yeah, tripping.
That's I'm telling you though, that's one of the worst things a guy could do. If you're with a woman that you really say you got that interest in and you're trying to show her a good time, making her dinner, whatever, pulling out a box wine is not, that's going to kill the whole vibe. Just like I said, me going to a woman's house and she's serving me on some paper plates for a first dinner, any dinner really, but especially a first dinner. That
hold on, would you eat it? Would you eat it?
Probably not.
Off that paper plate?
Probably not. I don't do paper plates. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Only picnics, and what's those when people have funerals after a funeral? What's them things?
Repasses.
Repast.
Yeah, repast
And picnics. Those where I do paper plates. That's the only time I do paper plates. But you invite me over to your house for dinner, then serve me.
Okay, so if she serves you on stoneware or china, can she fix you a go plate on paper plate?
As long as it's not a paper plate. I don't care. Now what's the hard paper plates too? Not the plate.
Can you get your to-go plate on a paper plate, or she got to give up one of her good dishes?
I'll eat on the way home. I wouldn't even do it. I'm telling you.
Stoneware is cool.
That's just me. That's just like me. That's like I said, if I invite her to my house and we're making I make dinner, I'm going to serve on a plate. I'm going to have wine, and it's not going to be in a box. It's going to be a nice dinner. It's going to be on a plate. It's not going to be a paper plate. I don't even have paper plates.
Look at this was a good one. Gwendolyn Brown.
Where's Gwendolyn Brown at?
She said, I'm one of these ladies that going fishing would make me smile.
I don't know how to fish, so we wouldn't go fishing.
That's huge for a lot of men, though.
What, fishing?
I haven't fished. I can't remember the last time I went fishing.
I've never been fishing in my life. I've always wanted to go, never been. So at my age, I'm not trying to go fishing.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm just gonna be honest. I've tried it, but sitting around swatting flies just wasn't.
Thank you. Now I go to Vegas. I go to Vegas.
Appealing to me.
I go to Vegas now.
Vegas was the bomb.
I go to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I was so mad.
I've been 3 times. Every time I went to Vegas, I had a blast.
I love Vegas, man.
I only went to Vegas during Money Mayweather fights, whatever. So, and that's a different atmosphere there. During that
totally
time.
different. Yeah, I go to Vegas especially since I can't go to Toronto anymore.
Yeah, that hurt.
You out.
Just the whole situation, man.
They might as well. It's not even open. They did open the border, but I don't even think too many people going over there yet.
Oh no, they had last week. They had traffic was backed up all the way to, I think, Main Street in Buffalo from the Peace Bridge, for people getting in there, and also, Canadian Customs is having a work issue with their local government or with the federal government and the employees there, so they're staging the slowdown strike.
Oh, wow.
So that was part of the reason why truck traffic was backed all the way up. I remember dropping my boy off and coming back home after we got.
I saw that truck.
That's part of the reason why. Yeah, but for people that are vaccinated against COVID, you can go to the U.S. Canadian residents just can't come to the U.S. I don't know how they worked that out, but that's what it is. Yeah, so unfortunately, I suppose I'm aligning myself to eventually get a COVID vaccination so I can go on over there and regale myself to.
Nope, not doing it.
You know my stance.
Not doing
it. I don't give a damn. We never can go over there. You know my stance.
That's what I said. I'm not. I won't.
Well, you know the funny thing. You know the funny thing about that was because I don't have the vaccination. The Billy Joe concert was Saturday. I ended up canceling my tickets, so I didn't go.
Where was that? Where was that at?
At the Adams Mark Stadium now, or Bills or Ralph, whatever the hell they want to call it nowadays. That's where the concert was. Had good seats.
Okay.
Didn't go.
So why you didn't go? Oh, because you got to be vaccinated to go in there, right?
Well, no, you don't have to be.
For his own
But
safety.
yes, and I'm, at this point with the Delta, because I think there was 48 out of 54 counties in New York State where the Delta V variant positive rates are rising. I'm just not subjecting myself to that nonsense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially in the South towns. Anywhere in South towns or rural areas, you're going to have higher COVID rates because they don't think it exists.
So I was just like, you know what? As much as I love Billy Joe the piano man, it for me it just wasn't worth the risk. I got his CDs here. I'll play them. I'll play them and sing along and drink
that box of wine, right?
Piano man.
And his box of wine. Yeah. What is Anthony talking about? Women that like to fish. What? Have fond memories of their fathers.
Likely have fond memories of their fathers.
Okay, Anthony.
If their fathers fished, because mine
it stands to reason.
See,
most women don't go fishing at that age.
No, they don't.
A father, on the other hand, will go fishing. If a daughter wants to tag along, he'll take her. That's how a lot of women learn how to fish with their fathers. Mothers don't teach them.
And see, what would be nice if you didn't know how to fish and the woman didn't know how to fish, and y'all just went there. Y'all had, a little
swat flies together. Sounds romantic to me.
It'd be all right. Whatever it'd be, it wouldn't be a bad thing.
But you might not catch by the water. You might not catch shit
by the water.
No, contrary to what you just said, because when I think back to my childhood, it was, well, my great-grandfather too, but my great-grandparents and my grandmother took us fishing as kids.
Really?
Yeah.
I never been fishing.
Fresh fish was always, a good thing. As long as you didn't have to scale them and debone them. Because I remember that was the one thing I hated.
Matter of fact, being kids, we were catching the what do you call them, little things, crawdads or whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm.
We were catching those on the side of the bank of the water. We weren't really catching any fish anyway.
I went fishing.
Yeah, but it's an outing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking no water fishing. I'll take her out by the water. We can sit and watch the sunset, have some wine out of a bottle, and
there you go.
Sit back and chill, watch the sunset, have a little music playing. Bring my little portable speaker. We can sit and listen to some music and watch the sunset and just enjoy each other's company, even do a little picnic and be good to go. But
okay, I'm gonna ask you this question, Willie. So if you had a picnic and you had a basket, what would go in that basket?
What would go in that basket? Of course, wine. I would do like it's this cheese. I can't think of the name of the cheese. It's a cheese. It's round and it come in a little foil package. It's round though. I can't think of the name of it. It's like a Swiss cheese. Some of it, sometimes they come in squares too. It's like a.
I know what you're talking about.
It's a very good cheese. And you can spread it on the crackers.
Laughing Cow.
I think that's the name of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of it. But it's a very good cheese. So I would do cheese and crackers. I would do some wine. And maybe it depends. It depends on what we're trying to do. I might bring like some cold cuts or something, make like some sandwiches. But I would try to make it where it's not too messy, too overwhelming. So that's why the cheese and crackers, the wine, some chips or whatever, something like that. I wouldn't do nothing too heavy because, like I said, I'm not trying to do dinner. So. So, it'll be nice though. I'll make sure it's nice and enjoyable.
Gotta have some chocolate in that picnic basket, right?
Some chocolate, yeah. If she likes I would bring a couple
of fondue maker,
candy, some little candy, and have it in there, some mints and things like that. Just make it enjoyable. I would want to do something where it's not too heavy because again, I want to still be able to walk around and hang out and and just sit and talk and get to know the person. If you bring like a whole meal out there, now you got to try to organize and do all that stuff. So you want to try to make it where it's not too overwhelming with the person, but you'll still be able to have at least something a little filling, but at the same time still be able to relax and talk and walk around and enjoy themselves. I like picnics. I like going by the water. So anywhere where I can find water, I can sit by water for hours.
Yeah, it's calming. It's relaxing.
Yeah. So I like going to find places, Tonawanda, Niagara Falls. I go sit over there off of Robert Moses, that strip with those two white pillars. I don't know what those things are. On the other side of the plant. Is one side is the plants, the other side is that whole little section where you can pull off. What's that, Herb? You know those tall white things right there by the water as you drive Robert Moses coming into the city?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The name of it.
Those things. I go sit over there. I sat over there for like 3 hours. So I mean, things like that. Sitting, watching the water, walking along the water, having conversation, hold hands a little bit, that kind of thing. Little wine and cheese and crackers and a nice time.
Some boxed wine and
ain't no box, baby. All right, no boxes going on.
You gotta come with the box wine post after this.
No box
wine, Ritz crackers.
You're gonna kill the mood. Don't do no box wine. And bring some nice crackers, fellas. Don't bring no saltine joints. In that picnic. Bring like the little.
I said Ritz.
No, not Ritz. There's no Ritz. What's them long joints? What's the long ones? We don't talk about the little long ones.
The white ones.
Taste to them.
Them was horrible.
So who?
them white saltine crackers or whatever. That was horrible.
That's what I'm saying. Don't we bring no saltine crackers?
I would think Ritz,
the little white
Ritz
ones.
a townhouse or something.
Those nice classy type crackers with they long. They like a rectangle shape. Rectangle shaped crackers with the cheese. Swiss. I think it's Swiss cheese. It's like a Swiss cheese, but they come in squares and they also come in round in the foil. And you put that on there with the cheese and crackers, some nice wine, some music. And just have a nice chill, time. Make sure you take her home before dinner time, so that way she can go home and
don't let her get hungry again.
That's right. You'd be right up, drop her off right at time for her to go home and make her something to eat.
So you basically said this has to happen like in the afternoon.
Afternoon or after dinner.
It's got to be.
After dinner, it'd be like 7 or 8 o'clock.
It's got to be the afternoon or. Anyway, if you wouldn't want to have it at night, I would know.
You can have it.
Watch sunset and say, hey, I'm going to come get you. We're going to go watch the sunset, have some cheese. I'm going to tell her. We're going to have some cheese and crackers and wine, and we can watch the sunset. I'm already laying it out there. Cheese, crackers, wine. And we're going to go watch the sunset. So they'll be looking to go get nothing to eat or nothing. No, we're not doing that. We're going to watch the sunset.
Eat before you come.
Right.
Before you come.
Are you hungry? Yeah. Make sure you eat before you come.
Yeah. And if I get there, she talk about, well, I'm hungry. All right, well, we're not gonna stay too much longer. I'll drop y'all. I ain't doing it.
This all you got? We can't go get a sub or something?
Not on this date. Maybe in a couple of dates later. I'm not cheap though. I know people say he cheap. But no, I can be, but I'm not.
He is not cheap. He does not serve box wine.
That's it.
Okay?
No, that'll do no box wine.
That's gonna be a recurring theme.
I cringe just looking at
this man has some class. All right.
Yeah.
You saw my lobster. You know I got some class. My steak and lobster, my shrimp. I was chilling at home by myself.
Who hurt you?
One day I'm gonna have me a date. One day I'm gonna have me a date, and they're gonna come over and eat the other half of that lobster with me.
Claire, I hope that's quick.
Clara was talking about how you gonna get all that for under $50.
Yeah, and I think what's his name?
Creativity. I know I'm shocked.
Tank said something too, like shit, all of that, whatever, for $50. Like man.
$45, under $45. It was $45. And cake. I had cake also.
All right.
Yeah.
We need to wrap this up
Yeah,
because
no, we about to get up
I
out of
gotta
here.
get some sleep and recover
Yeah.
from my little
Oh, I already
vacation.
know you. I
That's
already
right.
know you on tired mode.
Vegas down.
Closing comments, folks. And we're gonna get out of here.
There's
Check us
nothing
out.
wrong with being asked what you bring to the table, aka a relationship or an entanglement. If you're offended by it, then my suggestion is you tighten up and assess what it is that you are and what you bring. You know, mom like to end. Godspeed. See you. I'm sorry. Growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
All right.
Dang it. I know what I
You want me
want
to
to
go?
say. Go ahead.
All right. What is your contribution to a relationship? You need to think about that and know what your contribution is before you even bother to ask a person what their contribution is. So the thing is, instead of asking that, have a conversation and get to know the person and share your thoughts and ideas and see if they respond in a similar manner. If it doesn't, then you already know it's not going to go anywhere. Be polite, be respectful, say goodnight, say goodbye, and let it go.
Okay. People, please know your audience before you start posing questions like, what do you bring to the table? I still think it's better to learn that stuff organically than to, hit a person with a questionnaire and all that. I just think it's better organically to let it unfold organically. Do we mesh? Do we have any chemistry? Do we like enough things to even go further? I just think that's a better way than to point blank ask somebody, so what can you do for me? Because to me, that's what you're asking when you say, what do you bring to the table?
Can I add one more thing? Can I add one more thing in mind?
Sure.
Just one more thing. Just want to add one more thing. Also,
No box wine.
Just remember, headshots can be deceiving. Remember that. Y'all gonna appreciate my comment later. Y'all gonna thank me later. But remember, headshots can be deceiving. That can save you a lot of bad dates. All right, now I'm done.
And I look forward to your post, Willie, with the box wine, whatever, schooling 101, schooling the fellas, whatever. But for me, we are trying to get to a certain outcome. It's the way some people gonna be direct, like pretty much shit. What you can bring to the table, and like Christine, like Willie said, it's ways that you can ask that question, and I think Claire and several other people in the chat said it without directly asking that. But no matter what, we all know that essentially when you're going out on a date or you're doing that, without saying it, everybody wants to know what this person gonna bring to the table. How are you gonna gel with me? Nobody wants a weak link like, okay, I'm gonna have to carry this person or whatever the case is. So we already know that's the inevitable that you want to know what that person's, how you gonna benefit dealing with them, if it's gonna go further. It's just the way you got to go do it. So, like I said, some people gonna be direct. Some people know how to. Okay, I'm just gonna sit back, be a little more patient, and I'm gonna find out what this person can do. And sometimes you don't, like you said, observation is key. Sometimes you don't have to say nothing. You can just sit back, and whether they want to talk politics all night or whatever the case is, or want to serve you on paper plates or have the box wine, that's a telltale for many people. But the bottom line is, we're all searching for. You may all be searching for something. We have ways to get there. Whatever ways you're comfortable with, then you do it. If that person is not for you, there's no need to prolong the misery. Let it go and move forward. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I said a lot, didn't say much, but at the end of the day, that's how it is. And I want to thank everybody who was in the chat tonight. Whatever, it was very active, productive. Good comments, good feedback, and thanks for the panel, Willie, Christine, Herb. And, hey, well, I don't think we're gonna be doing the Thursday thing because got to slow down with that. Like I said last week, whatever. So Monday, it's always gonna be on fire. Yeah, on fire. So
all right. Good night,
tuned.
gentlemen.
We out. All right,
Christine.
Christine, ready to go. Whatever. We out. Everybody enjoy the rest of their
Have a
week.
good night,
and,
everybody. Stay safe.
We out. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.